Hello, we go. Oh, nope, I don't like that either.
Give a great start.
Put this in as bloopers at the end.
Yeah.
Hello, we ghosties. I'm Chance Lee.
And I'm Amanda McAvoy.
And this is That's So Gothic, a movie podcast about girls, guys, and haunted houses. Today, we've locked the kids in the basement to protect them from the woman in black.
So, you're from London. Trying to sell Eel Marsh House.
Yes.
You won't find a local buyer. The sooner the house is sold, the sooner people can move on.
Please, don't go back to the house. She's there.
She's always there.
Released in 2012, this is the 10-year anniversary of Woman in Black, directed by James Watkins, written by Jane Goldman, starring Harry Potter himself, Daniel Radcliffe as Arthur Kipps, Ciarán Hinds, there we go, a Rochester, as Sam Daly, Janet, or I feel like I want to call her Jeanette for some reason, and I don't know if I've heard that or what, but I'm going to say it, Janet McTeer as Mrs. Daly, and then a few, like, British that guys where you've seen them in a BBC miniseries and you don't remember where from. Yes. So this movie, as I said, came out in 2012. It has a 66% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, critic tomato, and only a 54% audience tomato, which is surprising.
Yeah.
I imagine all the positive reviews are from England. British people love The Woman in Black.
Yeah.
Ebert gave it 3 stars, which I found a little surprising.
Yeah.
Found a little generous for him.
Yeah.
He calls Ciarán Hinds, quote, he of the portentous face.
Wow.
So I guess he doesn't only disparage women's faces, which is nice.
It's a quality.
He just doesn't like faces.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was ragging on poor Ciarán Hinds' looks when we talked about Jane Eyre. So Ebert and I agree on that.
Wow.
He loved the production design of this house, calling it crumbling, forlorn, and filled with faded and jumbled Victorian possessions of doomed lifetimes.
Ooh.
It's a good line.
Very poetic.
And he also comments about loud sound design and jump scares, and a bit about Harry Potter's acting, which we'll discuss later on. Okay. So this was a big box office hit. Budget of $15 million, and it made almost $130 million worldwide. I think at least half of the population of England saw it.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal.
It's a pretty big island.
Had you seen this before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I might have seen it in theaters, actually.
Yeah.
But I've definitely seen it before. Yeah.
I don't think I was really going to the movies in 2012. And not to see Harry Potter in a ghost story.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's very fair.
I think the most interesting credit, besides Daniel Radcliffe, is Jane Goldman, the screenwriter. Her resume... Let's see if we can find a common thread between these movies that she's written, okay? So she's written at least 2 Kingsman movies, Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, Days of Future Past, Miss Peregrine, Stardust, and she has a screenwriting credit for The New Little Mermaid, the Lin-Manuel Miranda musical one. She also wrote the screenplay for the new Rebecca with Armie Hammer.
Okay.
So, what? She has the most varied resume I've seen.
Yes. I don't know. Is there a thread?
It's like, okay, there's some gothic elements. Like, she did Rebecca.
Yeah.
Miss Peregrine has kind of a gothic.
Yeah.
I read the book.
I did too, and I never saw the movie.
And then that kind of, I mean, it ends up being basically X-Men. Miss Peregrine does.
Yes, it
so
does.
that ties in, I guess.
Gothic X-Men.
It's Gothic X-Men. So
Yeah.
that ties into the X-Men movies. And then there's some fantasy elements like with
Yeah,
Stardust. But Kick-Ass is the one that really surprises
know.
me.
Like, that one's so bizarre. I mean, the only thing is, like, tying it to the X-Men is their comic book movies.
Oh, that's true. Superheroes. Yeah, people
but
with powers.
That's, like, it. That's it. That one is such an outlier.
I don't know if I'm being stereotypical, but at first I was like, is this Kick-Ass or the second one? Because the second one is really about Hit Girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, female screenwriter, a Hit Girl
Right.
movie. But no, it was the first one.
First one.
And I don't know if she was the sole screenwriter or maybe they just have her punch things up or what. I listened to the commentary on the Woman in Black DVD. No offense, Jane Goldman, if you're listening to this, but she's very low energy. So again, the fact that she's written these like vivacious movies really surprised me.
Absolutely. Stardust was one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Did you read that book?
I actually never read the book. I didn't know it was a book until years after I saw the movie.
Okay.
And I loved the movie though. But
I vaguely remember the movie.
Yeah.
Isn't De Niro a gay pirate?
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's so lovely. But yeah, again, just a movie with tons of energy.
Yes.
Like, very pretty movie. That's a very bizarre resume.
Well, I guess that's where Jane gets her energy out. But
Yeah.
This is also an adaptation based on a book by Susan Hill.
Yeah.
Have you heard of her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you have?
I think so.
I hadn't.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you read anything by her? She seems to be like a gothic novelist of the 60s, and she's still alive.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I did, but I can't remember. I wanted to read this book for a very long time because I want to see how it compares. But
Yeah.
I did not get around to it.
I'm curious about some of her stories. I was looking up her Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Most notably, I think this was a made-for-TV movie that aired on Christmas Eve on the BBC or a similar British channel in 1989. And it starred Harry Potter's dad from the movies, Adrian Rawlins. So I don't know if that's just a coincidence or what, but that's funny.
Yeah.
And it was also a stage play
Yes.
in England. This is a very popular story.
Yeah.
The TV movie has some key differences, like the main character's wife is still alive and everyone doesn't hate him like they do in this movie.
Yes.
And the ending is different.
Yeah.
But this movie is most fondly remembered, like among YouTube commenters from England, as ruining their Christmas.
Absolutely. Ruined it.
There's a YouTube video called Woman in Black, That Scene.
Yes. Yep. And it was so funny watching the movie, the 1989 one, and just once that scene happens, knowing exactly oh, that's the one everyone has been talking about.
Yes.
Bananas.
Yeah, there's a scene where he's laying in bed and there's a weird voice that's talking to hello.
Kind of sounds like a child almost.
It does sound
but
like a
weird
child.
old lady child too.
The way the sound is mixed makes it seem very strange.
Yeah.
Hello. And then all of a sudden she's just screaming and flying over the bed towards him. And it's clearly an old woman, and just like with the black circles under her eyes. But it's still unsettling.
It's so unsettling.
Yeah.
I think there's something more unsettling about, this movie from 1989 where it is just like, there's no CGI, there's no effects. So it's just this flesh and bone person that you can see. And but she's made up to look like a ghost. It is so creepy.
It's very creepy. I was surprised because I was gonna, roll my eyes at this.
Yeah.
I was stupid. And then I was like, oh no, I can see how this would scare people.
Yes.
And it reminded me of a scene. Have you ever watched Twin Peaks?
Yeah.
There's a scene in that where I think it's Bob, who's this creepy guy.
Yeah.
He crawls over a couch towards, I don't know if it's Grace Zabriskie or somebody.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of that where he's just a normal guy who has stringy hair.
Yeah.
But I remember screaming, and I watched this as an adult.
Yeah.
And the way he climbed over the couch. I don't know if it's because it's the first person perspective. And like you said, the fact that this could happen.
Yes.
The fact that it looks more real.
Flesh and blood person.
Yeah.
Like the scene in this 1989 one when she's just standing on sort of the moors, and it's I don't think it's the first time he sees her, maybe it is, and it's just, again, it's because, in the movie, there has to be some, like, artistic interpretation. Like, he's probably seeing it and knowing it's not a person. But you're watching it as the audience, and you know it's a person, but you're not sure if it's supposed to be. It's creepy.
It is creepy.
Yeah.
The movie has a really good creepy vibe.
Yeah, very good creepy vibe.
Is there anything you saw? Because we obviously never saw this. We're in the United States.
Yeah.
And also, this movie developed kind of a cult mystique.
Yeah.
Because it was a TV movie. So unless someone had it taped,
right,
then no one could have watched it for years. And there were rights issues. And it wasn't on DVD for a long time. So it kind of built up this huge mythos.
Yeah. A lot of people probably couldn't watch it for a long time.
Yeah. So is there anything like that scared you as a kid?
So when I was a child, I loved Kiki's Delivery Service. It was my favorite movie ever. I took it out every single week from the Video Thunder. I was obsessed with it. And then from that, my uncle bought me Castle in the Sky, which is another very cute Miyazaki movie.
Yeah.
And then Princess Mononoke came out in, I think, like 2000 or 2001. So I wasn't like super young. I was probably like 8 or 9 when I saw it. But just imagine this little girl who has grown up loving Kiki's Delivery Service, like with the cute little twinkling noises, and she's an adorable little witch, and she's just having a great time. And then this movie comes out, and your uncle brings it over, and it says Princess Mononoke, so you're thinking, oh my god, it's just like Kiki's, but now there's a princess.
She's a princess!
She's a princess! It's like a Disney movie now. Oh, phenomenal! I was scarred for years. And actually, I rewatched it for the first time kind of recently, like maybe a year or two ago, and I was surprised at how far into the movie this was. I thought I pretty much shut the movie. I thought I didn't finish it when I was a child, but it's almost the very end of the movie. There's a scene where like a wolf's head is like decapitated, but it like still goes after someone, and there's like a stream of gelatinous blood following it. So just imagine this little girl just losing her mind. I'm still scarred. I still can't look at blood.
Wow.
It really ruined me. Yeah. So I was very upset. At Hayao Miyazaki.
Yeah, that is upsetting.
Yeah. What about you?
So there was this show that was on in the 80s called The Hogan Family.
Yeah.
Do you know The Hogan Family?
It sounds very familiar.
No one ever mentions this show. Ever.
Did it have anything to do with Hogan's Heroes?
Absolutely not.
Okay, then no, I don't think I know it.
Exactly. But I looked it up thinking about this. It was on for like 6 years and had over 100 episodes. Yeah. And no one ever has mentioned it since.
That is so funny.
So it's known for having Valerie Harper, who played Rhoda on Mary Tyler Moore. So it was called Valerie's Family. But then Valerie Harper wanted more money, and they fired her. So they killed her character and brought in Sandy Duncan, who I only know from The Hogan Family. And they renamed it The Hogan Family. And Sandy Duncan was the cute aunt who came in to like live with the family after the death of their mother. Oh my god. So it's just like a family sitcom. Yeah. But it had Jason Bateman. Oh. Jason Bateman was like one of the teen boys on it. He was the only name I recognized. Yeah. But there was a Halloween episode where the kid is like eating cereal or something, and his brother is teasing him by pretending to be a zombie. And then the camera cuts away, and then it cuts back, and he's in full-on zombie makeup. All of a sudden, he has become a zombie. And I remember we used to watch this, or probably my mom watched it, and I would just kind of like lay on the couch and play and like watch the TV. But I remember being so scared by this, and I was so scared. And then he runs to Sandy Duncan for help. Sandy Duncan's like a cute little like pixie blonde. She's very adorable. I remember loving Sandy Duncan as a kid. And Edie McClurg. Do you know Edie McClurg? Oh. She played Mrs. Poole, and she was this funny redhead who was in Elvira's Mistress of the Dark and some other things. Very funny comedian. Yeah. But Sandy Duncan's reading the newspaper, and she pulls down the newspaper, and she's a zombie. And they all start coming after him, and I was terrified. Yeah. We could never watch The Hogan Family ever again. Yeah. I would cry and freak out if we ever tried to watch The Hogan Family. Because what if they turn into zombies again?
Oh my God.
And then, like, you know, I was terrified by this for years.
Yeah.
And I remember occasionally going online and looking for, like, the Hogan. There's nothing about the Hogan family online.
Yeah.
But I thought of this a couple years ago, and on, like, Daily Motion, someone has uploaded this episode. So I went to watch it, and I will give my younger self credit.
Yeah.
I was scared of a lot of things, but this was legit freaky.
Really?
Like, I'm surprised how freaky it is. And, like, the characters, the actors are playing it straight. Like, they're zombies, and the kid who's seeing them as zombies is screaming and screaming and screaming. But the studio audience laugh track is laughing.
Oh my god.
It's so disorienting and strange,
That is so
even as an
bizarre.
adult. So it still really freaks me out, actually.
No,
But-
that sounds awful.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Truman Show kind of, like, the kid was actually scared, like...
Yes, they
People
actually
just-
ate him.
Yeah, you
Yes.
were just witnessing someone's, like, terror.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
No.
So,
horrifying.
so we never, you know, the one time every 6 years someone would mention Sandy Duncan, you know, I'd break out in a cold sweat. So, I think she probably went on to do Lifetime movies. Yeah, so that was my Woman in Black moment.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
So, Woman in Black here, let's see. So, let's go through the plot of this. This is a very plot-heavy movie,
Yes.
so we'll try to keep it light. But it starts with these three girls who just jump out of a window.
Yeah.
Like, they're children, and they jump out of a window. And that's the first of many, like, child murders in this movie.
Kids are dying
which is
left and right.
what really sets this apart for a
Yeah.
PG-13
Yes, and from the
thriller.
1989 movie. I don't know that any children actually die in that movie.
Right.
Unless I missed it.
A log falls on a gypsy girl.
Yes.
Because they keep saying a gypsy. But I think
she's fine.
Saved her?
I think she's fine.
I think she's okay.
Yeah.
This one has a lot of dead kids.
Yeah.
And then we have this, like... we have Harry Potter. He's sad.
Yeah.
And he's not paying the bills. And his 4-year-old is trying to show him this ugly drawing that he made. And, like... and Daniel Radcliffe is like, why am I sad in this picture? And the kid's like, that's what you always look like, Daddy. And it's like, is this supposed to be funny? Like, the way they're playing it, it almost comes across as really comical.
Yes.
But there's no humor in this movie. There's no humor in
no
this movie.
humor. It reminds me of I don't know if you ever watched it. There's, like, this YouTube series show called BuzzFeed Unsolved. And it's these two guys, and they're, like, ghost hunters. It's very funny. But it reminds me of this one specific one where they were, like, going to a friend's house to see if there was ghosts there. And, you know, they get a drawing from the friend's child, and it's all this dramatic music, and they're like, yeah, this is the ghost that the child sees, and they unwrap this, like, huge piece of paper, and in the very center, there's this, like, small little stick figure. And it's just, like, that's exactly the humor I love.
Yes, I mean, and it's true. It's
Yes.
like, these are what these kids are drawing. They're terrible. Kids are terrible
They're
artists.
so awful.
I say this as someone who works with children. Their
Yeah.
artwork is objectively bad.
So bad.
Because they're kids. And, like, the way this movie makes it so realistic is humorous, but it doesn't see the humor in it. So, for me, we're already off on the wrong foot. But he gets he's an attorney, and he gets assigned to go over some dead woman's paperwork.
Yeah.
And so he's off on a train to go to Eel Marsh House, which is literally in the marshes. Very cool.
Yeah.
I liked the setup of this.
Yes.
But before he gets there, he has to get a room at the inn. And just like he's Joseph and Mary with the baby Jesus, there's no room at the inn for Harry Potter. They do not want him there.
No,
Everyone in town is comically cold to him.
Yep.
He's clopping down the street and shutters are closing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they all hate him.
Yeah,
And
he's the plague.
he is the plague. And everyone ignores him. No one wants to be with him. He does meet someone named Mr. Sam Daly at a tomb, and he's nice to him.
Yep.
And so I sit the whole movie thinking, something was going to be up with Mr. Daly.
Yeah.
Because why is he the one person in this town who's nice to him?
Exactly.
But no, he's just the one person.
He's just chill.
He's just the one person who's nice. His wife is a little crazy.
Oh, I love her so much.
She's played by Janet McTeer, Mrs. Daly. She's a little baddie. And she likes to... Does she like to paint?
Yeah.
Is she a painter?
I just remember her dog.
Does the dog have a name?
I think it does, but I can't remember. It's the one she dresses up, right?
My notes say twin dogs in sailor suits who sit at little high chairs.
Oh, I want to be her when I grow up.
So she's a little crazy,
Yeah.
So she dresses up her dogs. She's sad that her kid is dead, and maybe there's Nicholas. I think he must be the kid.
Yeah.
And they have this basic painting of Nicholas, which again very realistic because all this
Yes.
like Victorian era art is bad.
Yeah.
And sometimes though she'll freak out and start just like carving into the table with the butter knife.
Like she's possessed or something.
Yeah. So again, it's just a bunch of weird stuff that's happening. And eventually we find our way to the house. It takes a while for them to get out to the house. And he has to wait until like it's not really the tide, but like there's some issues with the marshland and the way the water works, and you can't always get out there.
Yeah.
So they ride him out, and he is exploring this house and trying to figure out what's going on. She's dead, Mrs. What was her name? Mrs. Drablow, Alice Drablow. And there was a boy, Nathaniel Drablow, 7, who drowned in the bog, and his body was never recovered.
Yeah.
Sometimes Harry Potter will hear him screaming in the marshes.
Yeah.
Or he'll see like ghosts in the windows.
Yeah.
My notes.
Very spooky.
My notes just say vigorous rocking and PG-13 jump scares.
Yes. That's very true.
Yeah. There's a lot of loud noises.
Yep.
Doors banging open.
Yeah.
Creepy dolls.
Yes. Which I was gonna say we need to have like a bonus category, bonus gothic for creepy dolls, rocking chairs with no people in them.
Those are good ones.
Yeah.
Those are good ones. Creepy dolls and rocking chairs. I'm adding those to our list
Rocking
right
chairs,
now.
no people. Cannot have people. Or
what if it's a skeleton?
maybe a skeleton or creepy doll in a rocking chair rocking.
Creepy
that
doll
is
rocking chair. Yes.
That's ultimate gothic.
Yes. He tears away the wallpaper and it says something like, "You could have saved him."
Yeah.
Wait. I just had this flash. I forgot about this scene. But there's like a Progressive Insurance ad where someone is tearing the wallpaper away from the wall. And it says, "You could have saved him." And then he pulls off another, it says like more money on his car insurance.
Oh my goodness.
That's from this. Flo. I'm pretty sure it's Progressive.
Oh my god, I would not be surprised.
I guess it's probably home insurance in this case, but yeah.
Wow.
Or Allstate or something.
Flo is a gothic queen.
Yes, how funny is that? I thought it was just a generic horror movie, but I just, again, this movie, I watched it and immediately forgot everything that happened.
Exactly.
Yeah. But again, my notes, creepy little footprints, jump scares, wet mattress.
Oh, yeah. Real musty.
So, and then like no one believes him. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
Ciarán Hinds, Mr. Daly thinks he's crazy. Janet McTeer is already crazy.
Right. You're not getting any help from her.
But she starts to tell him that whenever the woman in black is seen, a child dies.
Yes.
And I guess she likes, since he's there to investigate her, that's why everyone hates him.
Right, because they don't want him to go and then see the woman in black and then kill their child.
Bring this curse upon them. But meanwhile, you have children like barfing up blood.
Hell yeah.
Like it starts happening because she eats lye or something.
Yeah.
And Janet McTeer scrawls another statue of a stick figure.
Yeah.
And then like a train. So he's starting to worry that it's his son.
Yep.
So he's left his son and the nanny back in London because his wife is dead.
Yeah.
But they're going to come out and visit him, I think, because he's been out
I was kind of
in
confused.
the sticks for so long.
Yeah.
It really is just, I think, contrived to get the ending
I
into
did too.
place.
He was not there, I feel like, that long. He was there like 3 days and they were like, oh, gotta get the boy out here.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Especially since, he has a nanny. The kid isn't in any sort of danger.
Right.
But he eventually realizes, after finding some letters, Alice Drablow had a sister, and it was Nathaniel, the dead boy, was the sister's son.
Yes.
But Alice took him away from the sister, I think, because she was unmarried, probably.
Yeah.
And then he drowned in the swamp.
Right.
So the sister always held her responsible for it.
Yes.
And became the woman in black, a spirit of vengeance who did not want anyone else to have kids.
Yeah.
And so Daniel Radcliffe thinks that if he can pull the son's body out of the swamp and reunite it with the dead mother, that the curse will be lifted.
Yeah.
So they go through this. They dig him out of the swamp. He's covered in this like brown
Sludge.
Nickelodeon slime.
Yep.
And they do it. They do it. And they think that the ghost is gone. Yeah. But she hisses, "Never forgive." Yeah. Never forgive. And then Harry Potter's son shows up with the nanny, and he sees the woman in black. The little boy does.
Yeah.
And she kind of like possesses him to throw himself in front of a train.
Yep.
And so Harry Potter like jumps into the train tracks to save him.
Yeah.
And the boy's like, "Daddy, who's that lady?"
Yes.
And it's the woman in black. And then the train runs them over.
Yep.
And then they're reunited with their mother in heaven.
Yes.
At the end.
Yeah. Everyone's dead. Great.
But dead, but like happy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you wanted to be with your wife anyway.
Yeah,
so
right?
it's like, we're happy that you're
She
dead.
helped you.
We're
yeah.
happy that you're dead.
Seriously.
Very strange ending.
Yes.
The ending of the TV movie is much different. They
and like love it.
Really funny.
Yeah, I love it so much.
Tell us what happens.
So they're, paddling out on a lake. I can't remember. Does he at that point think that the ghost is gone?
He thinks the ghost is gone.
Yeah, he does.
So he gets sick and has to go back to London.
Yeah.
And then, like, again, another plot contrivance, even in this one.
Yeah.
They're like, well, the house burned down.
Yes,
Everything's gone. You don't have to go back.
Yes.
The end.
Okay.
And then he freaks out.
Yes.
And burns all of the documents.
Exactly.
And thinks they're cleansed of her.
So he's paddling along, and then actually incredibly creepy again. I just think that she is so creepy. He looks over, and the woman in black is standing in the middle of the lake, like, suspended on water. Very Jesus walks.
Yeah.
But very creepy. I think too it makes it creepier because it's the middle of the day.
Oh yeah.
It makes it creepier. But anyway, so he's so distracted. He's like whoa 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 whoa, and then the wife just and you hear cracking, and a branch comes down, takes the wife, him, and the boy in a rowboat into the water. So good.
It's really good.
Oh, I love it so much. Because, like, he's so close to the shore at that point, too. Like, how did you at least not notice that?
Yes.
So wonderful.
Yeah.
And the fact that, the mother did not just, like, grab the oar and start paddling herself. Nothing.
No.
They
just watch the tree fall on them.
Because it takes, like, a while, too.
It keeps falling.
Yeah, it just keeps, it's like...
Yes. Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, I guess they said the director or somebody said that the Harry Potter one, I don't think they were supposed to be reunited with her in heaven at the end.
Yeah.
But test audiences didn't like it.
Yeah.
So they gave it a, quote, happy ending.
Yes, I think it was supposed to be a lot more bleak.
He still got squished by a train.
I know, right?
So I don't understand.
Yeah, seriously.
But I guess that's all it takes for some people to be like, oh, great, happy in heaven.
Exactly.
Why don't we all just throw ourselves in front of a train?
Right? What a good example.
But I guess, I don't think they let suicides into heaven.
Oh.
I think that's a religious thing.
I don't know.
But if a ghost possesses you and pushes you in front of a train.
And he was trying to help his son, so I guess it wasn't really suicide.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they take the dad upstairs and they throw the kid into... No, actually. Ghost or no ghost. Get to the basement.
Yes.
Yeah. That would be a better ending.
That would be a better ending.
It'd be, never-ending honeymoon for... Get out of here.
Yes. And they're the only ones.
Yeah.
Like, what is this weird afterlife?
Seriously.
Like
just
purgatory.
white glow. Actually, it reminds me a lot of that Harry Potter scene where Harry Potter dies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dumbledore comes out. And the little weird fetus Voldemort is there, too.
Oh, gosh, I don't remember a lot of these.
Yeah. That would have been a really funny ending, though.
They might as well have.
I know.
They might as well have.
It was a cop-out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back to talk more about Daniel Radcliffe and Harry Potter after this. We're back, we ghosties, for our Gothic Roundup. Every Gothic movie has to have 4 qualities. A girl, a guy, a haunt, and a house. So this is our first gender-swapped Gothic. Fitting into the traditional girl role is Daniel Radcliffe's character, Harry Potter. What's his name?
I genuinely could not.
Arthur. It's so unmemorable.
Yeah.
It's so unmemorable. So Ebert was not a fan of. I wasn't sure if he wasn't a fan of his acting or just he wasn't a fan of the casting and the acting. So he thinks that at 22, quote, he still looks like a schoolboy or too young to be the father of a 4-year-old. And I was like, maybe, but like in the Victorian eras, they're having kids at like 16.
Yeah, I didn't not buy that he was a dad.
Yeah. He doesn't have enough interaction with the kids. I feel like to feel like he's actually his dad.
That's true.
He still feels like a grown-up who's not comfortable around children.
Yes.
And Ebert said he wished that the character had possessed more screen presence. What did you think of Daniel Radcliffe in this movie?
I don't think I know enough about acting to say whether or not he did a good job, but like he was fine. I think in general the character was just a little, I mean, literally forgettable. I mean, we can't remember his name. I think that he was fine in this movie. I liked his sideburns quite a bit. I thought they added a lot of, pepper. Yeah. That was nice. And I think Daniel Radcliffe is very good at being concerned.
He has to do most of this movie.
Yeah.
That's really, he's just looking at paperwork and being concerned.
Yeah, and I think he's actually pretty good at that. Yeah. So, I mean, I would give him like a kudos for it, I guess.
Yeah. He has very nice blue eyes.
Yes.
That I feel like must be a little color corrected. There's no way that they're that blue.
Yeah.
And there is one scene in it where they show him right like as he's putting his shirt on. And in the director's commentary, they say they originally had him start the scene with his shirt off so they could get the shirtless scene in. But then they cut it because they thought it would be too distracting.
Yeah.
I'm like, excuse me?
Come on.
And I thought it was a little because why not just start the scene with him dressed?
Exactly.
Why have him put his shirt on, but like you don't get to see anything exciting?
Right.
So
if you're gonna make him daddy, make him daddy.
Make him daddy. He was really buffing up after Harry Potter, so we want to see that.
And I will say, like, I wouldn't say I disagree that he looks a little young. Like, of course he looks a little young. He's 22. But I think he looks older than 22 in this. Yeah. So
he looks like a Victorian person of this age.
Exactly.
And yeah, I really wanted the shirtless scene.
Yeah.
The one thing the new Firestarter got right with Daddy Zac Efron is showing him shirtless.
Oh, thank God.
They knew what we wanted. Yeah. And that's what we wanted in 2012.
Exactly. They watched
Daniel
this
Radcliffe.
movie.
They were like, oh, we got to fix this mistake.
We got to rewrite history, baby.
We got to fix this mistake. Yeah. So most Gothic movies would then have a guy of some sort that lures the girl in.
Yes.
We don't really have that here. Yeah. So if we're doing gender swap, in a way, we would have a girl. Yeah. You could kind of say it's the Alice Strablow, but not really. It's more like his boss that tells him.
It's paperwork.
It's paperwork.
The girl is paperwork.
The girl is paperwork.
Yeah, which, like, I kind of get.
Legal red tape.
I kind of love a good, like, ledger. So, like, I get it. Yeah. But, no, it's just paperwork.
Yeah, that's not as exciting.
No.
Although the TV movie makes a bigger deal about his boss kind of knowing what he was getting.
That's actually a huge plot point.
Getting the main character into.
Yeah.
So I liked the way that did it.
Exactly.
It does imply that he was being put into danger.
He was bamboozled.
Exactly.
Yeah, whereas in this movie, it's more just like a regular, I think because he goes out to do it because he's like, he's not doing so well, right? Because I think he's depressed.
Yes, he's depressed from his wife dying.
Yeah, so I think he kind of has to like make up and go and do this.
Because no one else wants to do it.
Exactly.
Because it's out in the country.
Yeah.
And we never, since he dies at the train station, we never get to see him go back and interact with the boss or anybody else again.
Yeah.
So this one, of course, does have a ghost, has a haunt. The title, The Woman in Black.
There she is.
There she is.
Yeah.
You think she's an effective haunting presence?
Yeah. I mean, I do. I definitely think I prefer her more in the 1989 one than in this newer movie. But she's definitely creepy.
Yeah.
She's a little spookster.
Yeah.
You know, hiding in windows, on the marshes, just having a great spooky time.
Yeah.
I do like, too, like a ghost that, you know, leaves the house. I think that's, you know, a well-traveled ghost. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's very spooky because it's not like, oh, you know, if you just get outside, you're good.
Right.
Like, I think that's pretty spooky. I like that.
That's true. She follows you.
Yeah. I like a ghost with an Uber. Yeah. I like her. I like sort of the lore behind it, too. You know, you mentioned it about sort of how she came to be. I think that was... you know, an effective way to set up a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can't have children, no one can.
Yeah.
She is really just a child
petty.
murderer.
Yeah.
Which, again, unusual.
Yes. Yeah. I
In
mean,
most
kids
movies.
die.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think one of the kids sets herself on fire at some point.
Straight up like ushers.
Yes.
Let it burn.
Yes. Yes. That girl is on fire.
Yes. That girl is on fire. What other 2000s R&B hits can we apply to this movie? Yeah.
Yes.
She will not take them to the candy shop.
No. Candy is melted. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I liked her. What about you?
In the 2012 one, she's
Yeah.
mostly just like a CG blob.
Yeah.
So even though I have to remind myself this was 1989
Yes.
for the older one.
Yeah.
Even though she is just an old woman in a dress.
Yeah.
Like you said, she does have a more haunting presence
Yes.
because she feels real. Whereas the other one just feels like
Yeah.
a CG ghost.
And if I had to pick one thing in the 2012 movie that I would absolutely, like, if I could go back in time and change, it would be the noise she makes when she, like, screams, the woman in black. Like, you know, it's that very, like, theatrical, recorded, like, ah! You know,
Yeah.
like, not a real human noise.
Yeah.
And so the one in the 1989 one, she sounds almost like the kid from The Ring.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, it has that very, like, kind of
Yes.
thing. And that is way creepier to me. So, yeah, definitely prefer the one from the 89.
Yeah, it has a more tangible quality to
Yeah.
it that this 2012 one lacks.
Yeah, like you said, CGI blob.
Don't like the CGI blobs.
Yeah.
And finally, we have our house. This one has a
Yeah.
house that has a name.
Yes.
Eel Marsh House.
Don't see any eels, though.
I don't know where the eel comes
I have
from.
no idea.
I briefly looked to see if it had like a different meaning
Yeah.
or something, and I couldn't. Maybe it's explained in the book.
Maybe.
I don't remember them naming the house in the 1989 movie, but
Yeah.
they say it a lot in the 2012 one. I like the marshes.
Yeah,
The
me
house. What did you think of the house?
I liked it, but I don't think you actually get to see enough of the inside. I never really had a good, like, presence of what the inside looked like besides the child's room. And, like, that's really the only room that, like, stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, the study, at least, again, in the 2012 one. But the outside of the house was, you know, chef's kiss, very spooky.
Yeah.
I love a house that's self-isolating. I would love that. You know, maybe in my 20s I would have wanted a drawbridge. Now that I'm entering my 30s, I think a marsh that floods is a lot more economical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you don't have to put it on a timer
No.
or man it or anything. It
exactly.
just
You
takes
just
care
let
of itself.
nature be your security.
And anything that gets lost in there is lost.
oh, it's gone.
Unless Daniel
Yeah.
Radcliffe, like, gets a winch and pulls it out of the muck.
Yeah, it gets like
And
his little
who's gonna be that
horse and
motivated?
carriage. Yeah, exactly.
The interior of the house reminded me of Emily Dickinson's brother's house. Have you ever been there?
I haven't.
Okay, so in Amherst, Massachusetts, there's the Emily Dickinson
Yeah.
house, which is completely renovated and just looks like a museum. And then next door is the Evergreens,
Okay.
which is where her brother lived. And Emily Dickinson, allegedly notorious recluse,
Yes.
used to write them letters, even though you could see the house from her bedroom window.
Yeah.
They did not restore this house.
Yeah.
So it's very decrepit
Yeah.
inside. They had only done one renovation project, which was to install central heating and AC vents, just more for climate control.
Yeah.
To keep it from deteriorating even further.
Yeah, from just rotting completely.
Yes, and this house was built in 1856, so it is a Victorian era home, and it has peeling wallpaper. And I remember a creepy doll in a crib upstairs.
I love that.
And the funniest thing about that though was they were the first family, either I don't know if it was Amherst or Massachusetts or what, that had indoor plumbing. And they had an indoor toilet.
Good for them.
Which is a big deal.
Yeah.
But the toilet's on the second floor of the house. And the tour guide could not answer that for me. I said, if this was the first toilet, like, why were they so ambitious that they put it on the second floor?
Yeah.
Why isn't it on the ground level?
Yeah, they're really letting gravity do the work.
Well, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it is just a vertical pipe.
Right.
But still, I would think you'd want to test it out.
Yes, put it on
a little
some, like,
lower.
nice, secure concrete.
Yes, and the tour guide said, no one's ever asked us that before.
Wow.
So
very inquisitive.
So if I ever go back,
Yeah.
I'll ask them again about that toilet.
Okay.
But I checked their website, and it says they're closed for a major renovation project. I hope it's not that house.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not. It's a little vague.
Right.
What it
boy.
is. So.
Jeez.
But yeah. So if you want to see a house just like that, head
Yeah.
to Amherst, Massachusetts.
Okay.
When the renovation project is done.
Right.
So we have our bonus Gothic categories. So our typical bonus Gothic categories: rival, romantic rival, incest, Panano.
Yep.
None of those are in this. Yep. I was even going back through my notes. I was like, was there a Panano?
Yes.
This movie's ripe for like
creepy Panano.
Harry Potter going through some notes, and then like the Panano keys start playing.
Yes,
on their
or him like
own.
brushing his fingers over them.
Yes, and
Cobwebs.
dust. Yeah, dust comes up.
Oh, that would have been great.
That would have been great. But we do have our new Gothic categories.
Yay!
Introducing our new Gothic categories: creepy dolls and rocking chairs with no people.
Yep.
So I think those are great ones.
Yeah.
Because we're going to see more creepy dolls.
Oh, absolutely.
And hopefully more rocking chairs with no people.
I like a rocking
Or at least
chair.
a skeleton in it.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of Psycho because I think she's in a rocking chair at the end.
Yes, she
of that.
is.
So I think that counts.
Yeah.
No living people. Well, no living people.
No
in
living
them.
people. That's good.
There we go.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we got some good bonus categories in. So we will take a very short break, and we'll come back to decide, is it Gothic? All right, we ghosties, we are back with the results of our Gothic Roundup. So to recap, we have a gender swap this time. So we have a guy.
Yep.
We have no girl. We have a ghost. We have a house. And we have two bonus Gothic categories: creepy dolls that wiggle around and rocking chairs with no people. So what do you think? Is it Gothic?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it's Gothic.
It's Gothic.
Is it good?
Is it good? It's a totally different question.
Right.
I don't think this movie is particularly good.
Yeah.
I guess it made so much money just because of the
small budget.
The small budget,
Yeah.
and just it was the first post Harry Potter movie Daniel Radcliffe did.
Yeah, a lot of hype.
It made a lot of international box office. Probably all those people in England scared on Christmas wanted to see it.
That's true.
But yeah, I wouldn't say it's that good.
Yeah.
It is interesting, I think,
It
that
is.
and it's interesting that the gender swap, having the guy in it and having no romance angle to
Yes.
it, I just find interesting.
Yeah. It was refreshing.
They killed off the wife.
Loved it. Get
So-
her. And they were not shy about killing kids. which-
Not shy about killing kids. That's what I appreciate.
Yeah, exactly. Kill them kids.
I love when terrible things happen to children in movies.
Yeah, exactly.
And I say this, neither of us have children.
No.
And I feel like I interact with people who actually have children, and then
Yeah.
when bad things happen to kids in movies, they have to turn it off.
Devastated. Yeah.
And so it's like, great, these are the movies for me.
Exactly.
I
think it's just so surprising. So it's like, it's refreshing in a way.
That's what I like about
Exactly.
it. I think it's something new.
Exactly.
And that's really what this movie brings to the table.
Yeah, dead
is
kids.
the dead children in the swamps, falling
Yep.
downstairs, locked in basements, barfing up blood,
Yep.
setting themselves on fire.
Great.
Jumping out of windows. Forgot about
Yes,
them.
3 of them.
Trio.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Bop, bop, bop.
Triple pancake.
Oh, yeah. KO.
And like you have the mother screaming just so
Oh.
you know it's not like a dream sequence or
Yes,
something.
yeah.
Lots of poor extras who probably aren't even named in the credits
Yeah.
having to scream about their dead children.
Yeah.
So that is fun.
Yeah. That's a good time.
That's a good time. Good time. Woman in Black.
Yeah.
I would say if you're curious, watch the 1989
Yes,
version. It's
it's
on
really
YouTube.
good. Yeah.
We both watched it on YouTube. And at very least, you can watch Woman in Black, that scene.
Yes.
And get an idea
It's
of what
freaky.
traumatized England in
Yeah.
1989. Christmas was never the same.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening to this episode about The Woman in Black. Please subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts. We're finally on Apple Podcasts. We finally figured out how to do that. Apple was giving us a hell of a time.
How dare
But they have all of my personal information, DNA, credit card, blood type. I needed to go through so much to get that in. Drop us an email at sogothicpod@gmail.com. Let us know what movies you like. Let us know if there's gothic movies you want us to do. You can also follow us on Letterboxd. Letterboxd.com/that'sogothic. And we're going to be starting an Instagram page soon. So join us next time when we will join a German dance academy that might have a witch or two in the original Dario Argento 1977 classic Suspiria. Bye-bye. Hello, we ghosties. We are... Start that over. Our...